Hi, everybody. This is Keith Gleason,
And I'm Amy Gleason.
and we're back with another comic review on the Plastic City Comic Con YouTube channel. Don't forget, Plastic City Comic Con, April 21st, 2018, at the Wallace Civic Center from 10 to 6. We hope to see you there.
Fitchburg, Massachusetts.
Yep. One day show, comic focused as always. So here we go. We're going to start with our two more comic reviews this week. Why don't we start with Amy this week?
Me?
What
Okay.
do you have for the review?
I am going to review Evolution.
Okay. Now, who's the publisher of
It
Evolution?
is published by Image Comics under their
okay.
Skybound label.
Oh, okay. That's Robert Kirkman's subdivision of Image.
Yeah, which I didn't know until
Yeah.
you told me today. So.
Yeah. So let's tell me a little bit about Evolution.
Okay.
I haven't read it, so I don't know what...
So Evolution is from Image Comics under the Skybound label.
Okay.
It's a horror comic. You know I like horror comics.
Yeah.
I don't know what drew me to this one, why I picked it up. I think it was like, it has this sort of 80s feel, 1980s feel to the text on the cover. So,
yeah,
I have that nostalgia thing going on. So I'm like, all right, I'll pick this up. It is sort of, somebody said this in one of the letters.
It's not related to the David
It is
Duchovny.
No, it is not.
Movie, okay.
That wasn't a crappy movie. I liked that movie.
Yeah.
Because I like David Duchovny, so I think that's the main reason I like it. Anyway, no, nothing to do with Evolution with David Duchovny. It is more similar to The Thing. If you want to compare it to a movie, like The Thing pops up. One of the letters in the letters column mentioned that it's like Cronenberg-esque, which I definitely can see. So
yes, maybe I'll check it out.
You should check it out. It's good.
Who's the writer and artist?
This is what's weird with the writers. There are four writers. Four writers. James Asmus, Joseph Keating, Christopher Sabella, I'm sorry if I'm slaughtering that name, Joshua Williamson. So there's four writers. And
I've heard a couple of those guys. Joshua Williamson, I think, writes The Flash now.
Oh, he does?
And James Asmus, he used to write some stuff for Valiant, and I think he wrote Gambit for a while, and he wrote Quantum and Woody, a few other like small books. But he's one of those guys that I've read some of his stuff. He's pretty good. The other two guys I may have read, but the names aren't striking anything. But anyways,
so those are the writers. Let me talk about the writing for a minute. Now, I didn't realize that there were four writers, mostly because I'm not
four separate stories.
There's three separate storylines.
Huh,
so it's the kind of story where there are three separate things going on. One is placed in Los Angeles. One is I think it's in Philadelphia, and then the other is in Rome. So it's sort of like three parts of the world. The three stories are similar in tone, but different. And I think that might have been one of the reasons why I didn't notice that there were four writers.
Oh, okay.
And so I got issue 1, 2, and 3. When I'm picking up a new book, I think I can get a good feeling for the title after 3 issues. That's why I like
That's fair. Yeah.
I like to pick up 3 if I can, and then see if I want to stick with it. So I didn't notice any sort of wobbling at all until issue number 3, where there are 2 characters who are sort of acting a certain way and have certain motivation, and then there's something that happens near the end of issue 3 where I'm like, what? Like, it was not consistent. So I'm a little worried that might not work out so well in the future for this title if the four writers don't really like double check what they're doing to the story. But it's okay though. I liked it. It didn't bother me enough to make me not want to read it. It was just one of those like, what?
What's your grade for the writing on that? My
grade for the writing, I'm gonna give it an A-. I would have given it an A. That one little like character, like inexplicable like 180 made me confused. So I'd give it an A-. Maybe that's an editing thing. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? But it's a cool story. It's neat. I like the way the characters are being developed through the 3 different storylines. I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going to go. It does have elements of The Thing to it. Uncontrolled human evolution, basically. If it was like sped up to lightning speed, what would happen?
What do you give the art?
The art I like. The artist, who I didn't mention yet, is Joe Inferani.
Okay.
I totally pronounced that wrong. Infernari. Ugh, terrible with names. Anyway,
Okay.
so Joe Infernani, and the colors were by Jordan Boyd. I would give the art, I'd give it an A minus. Also, I really like the art a lot. Does a good job of getting the atmosphere for the story right, if that makes sense.
Okay.
They do a good job of being consistent with the characters throughout all the different settings that they're in. The colors are very moody. I like it a lot. It's well done.
Okay.
Sometimes I don't want to say muddy. It's not muddy. It's just a little hard to tell what's going on in some of the panels, but that might just be because there's some, blood and gore and stuff.
So what's the grade on
my overall grade? I'd say an A minus.
On the art?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, A minus for the art, A minus for the story. I like it. I like it a lot. An A minus all around. I'd say pick it up. Issue number 4 is due out in February, so I'll be picking up issue number 4.
Yeah, most stores have 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, most stores have 1, 2, and 3.
We were out this weekend promoting Plastic City, and we saw a bunch of them around. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to put this in Keith's read pile for him to read, and then he can tell me what he thinks about it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Okay, honey. So what do you have?
So my review is Marvel's 2-in-1 relaunch with Thing and Human Torch.
What do they mean by 2-in-1?
I think back in the day, and I could be wrong, the internet can correct me on it. I don't think I've read many of it, but if I remember right, it's 2 stories in 1 issue, so you would get 2-in-1,
Okay.
And I think
like more for your dollar?
Yeah, one of the stories always starred the Thing, if I remember right, and that's how they kind of sold it. The other story was like its own thing. I could be wrong about that. Internet can let me know if you want to leave a comment if I'm wrong about that. I am unsure of the history, so I'm just don't want to talk out of my butt on that one. But I've been disappointed with a lot of Marvel lately. I think the only books I get are like Moon Knight and Monsters Unleashed and Iron Fist at the moment. So my Marvel intake is very low. I took a shot on this one just because I had heard good things about it.
Okay.
So,
I love the cover, the lenticular cover.
Yeah, I ended up buying the lenticular one because there was a bunch of them
like
at the store. Yeah, let's see. Ooh, it looks like it's it looks like it's classic, definitely a classic Fantastic Four cover with Inhumans, and it looks like when you move it, it changes it. Unfortunately, changes it to some of the newer characters. I wish it just stayed to the old style, but anyways. Yeah. So storyline, it's written by a guy named Chip Zdarsky or something like that. Who I've read other things by. He's mostly more of a comedian writer though.
Okay.
Like he writes Sex Criminals, which I know you've read some.
Yeah, and that's pretty funny.
And he wrote Marvel's Howard the Duck that came out last year or the year before. So I was kind of hesitant about him writing this, but man, is he really good at writing like serious stuff too.
Does it have any comedy in it?
Tiny bit.
Just like
there was like a funny little bit with Spider-Man in it in the beginning, but yeah, I'm unfamiliar with what's going on with Fantastic Four, but I know they're gone from continuity. I don't know how any of that happened, but this sort of picks up with just the Thing and Human Torch, which I guess Human Torch has been with the Inhumans for a while, and then the Thing has actually been with the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is kind of weird. But now they're back on Earth, and it's sort of like they're finding their place again without Reed and Sue. So,
who's the leader then?
It's from the Thing's point of view.
Okay.
So, they really set up some interesting stuff. Like, they hinted that, of course, the Fantastic Four might still be alive.
Yeah.
Shocker. But and also they've set up something neat where Johnny seems to be losing his powers.
Okay,
his
like he
fire
can't flame
is getting,
on.
yeah, his fire is not lasting as long or burning as hot. So that I'm curious to see what's happening there. But yeah, really good, really solid. I have to give the writing. I'd have to give it a solid A. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised that it's not like most of Marvel's output at the moment. There seemed to be no political statements, or it was just a straight up like superhero
like
story.
Good, clean,
yeah,
hero,
very like,
fun.
and I felt, Thing has always been a cool character, and I felt like he was like coming back in this. Like I was like, all right, this is the Thing I remember. So, thumbs up for that. I gotta be honest, I don't know who the artist is for that. So let me take a look real quick. Oh, it's Greg Land, which I've seen some of his stuff, and Jay Leestein is the inker on. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, that was for this.
What
short
is that?
story.
Oh, okay.
Why I'm looking in here, but yeah, it had a very like kind of like image style. Like I'll have Amy put a few shots of the pages in here. Oh guys, like a million.
There's a ton of
here we
people
go.
involved.
Jim Chung, which I've seen some of his artwork before. Look at that. Joe Caramagna, letterer, one of the guests that'll be at Plastic City Comic Con this year.
So you could pick this up and then have Joe sign it.
Exactly.
At Plastic City Comic Con.
I'll have. I'd give the artwork a solid A too. So yeah, all around, I give 2 and 1 an A. It's only on issue 2, so I recommend this. If you guys have been disillusioned with Marvel lately, this is actually really solid. I was really pleasantly surprised with it. So definitely pick it up. I think even if you're a former fan of Fantastic Four, even if you're not, all you need to know is that the Fantastic Four are gone, and Johnny and Ben are left to pick up the pieces, and that's where the story begins. So
someone like me who has never read a single issue of the Fantastic Four, but I know who the characters are.
Yeah.
I've never read it. I wouldn't need to read anything prior to.
I don't think so. You just have to have a basic knowledge of who they are.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They do a good job of explaining. Actually, in the back of the issue, these Marvel Legacy books, I guess, have been given like a 2 or 3 page story on who the characters are. So they kind of sum up the Fantastic Four in the back. So if you haven't read that, you just go right to the back, read the first 3 pages on the back, and it gives you a nice summary of who they are. But honestly, who at this point doesn't know?
Yeah,
you know?
I mean,
as long as you have the basic knowledge of it, you're good. You might be scratching your head at what the heck is going on with Dr. Doom, and I'm not quite sure myself. But
is it all ages?
Yeah, I don't think there was anything crazy,
not too violent
in there. Just the normal fisticuffs, and there was no blood or guts or swears or anything like that. So yeah, definitely good for a kid too. So yeah, cool. My score is A for it all around. So
excellent. I didn't mention this. This title, not for children.
Oh yeah.
No.
I think people know that when you say horror, but you never. Yeah, sometimes you have to tell.
Yeah, how old were you when you started watching horror?
Oh God, 7 maybe.
Yeah, and I was 6 years old, and I got mad at my mother because she wouldn't take me to see Alien.
Yeah.
I mean, but if your kids aren't like we were when we were kids, don't read this to
probably not. All right, well that's it for this week's comic review. So. Once again, Plastic City Comic Con, April 21st. We hope to see you guys there. And, all right. Have a good one. See you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.